All right, guys, welcome to episode number 96, the long-awaited open range race preview.
Been waiting for this one for a very long time.
Basically a year.
Yeah, right? And I hope everybody's ready for this episode.
I hope so, too.
I mean, you got to have some drinks ready.
Yep.
You better have a DD. You better, or be already at home and just,
don't be listening to this in the car and taking a couple hits from the shandy.
That's right.
Get the tall boy out.
That's right.
Because it's going to be a lot of open range talk.
A lot of open range talk. So this is pretty much our Super Bowl for the year.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is it.
Yeah.
Unbound doesn't have anything on this one.
That's right. Yeah, so we get to finally preview open range. We had a chance to catch up with Eric at Flint Hills Gravel, and he gave us a couple little hints about what might be coming on the route, and now we get to finally talk about it.
Yeah, so we're going to share that with you guys and some of our tips and tricks from this will be the 5th year doing it.
Isn't that crazy? I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, has it really been 5 years? I had to go back through my head and just be like, has it really been 5 years?
Yeah.
That's just wild.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, the first year we got done with it, we said we were never coming back.
Yes. I mean, we did. We both got done, and you finished maybe an hour before I did. I had my classic nutrition debacle.
Yeah.
About 5 hours in, I started seeing stars, and you finished about an hour ahead of me. And I remember being done, just like, why did I do this? Why did I let Travis talk me? And what's funny about it is, leading up to that, I remember this clear as day. You convinced me, or at least you convinced yourself, or somehow you had it figured out that, this race doesn't really have that much elevation, and
it'll be easy.
It's just
going to be an
130
easy day.
miles. It'll be a nice easy day. Yeah. You just go out there and you ride it, you enjoy it, and get your long ride in for the week, your long slow day in. And you'll be ready for Unbound a month later.
Yeah, no problems.
Right.
Little did we know.
Right.
This, if we haven't explained it before, that this race has a reputation for destroying your soul, it does.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah. This,
again, it's one of those races that's, I didn't think I would like it, but now I just turn to look forward to it every year. Yeah. Even when you think it's going to be easy, it's never easy.
No.
It's one, you can look at it on paper and you can go, wow, that looks great. That looks, it's going to be fast. I'm going to, PR like my 100-mile time or something like that.
Right.
The problem is that in that part of Kansas, the weather is unpredictable. The conditions are unpredictable.
Yeah.
And, the gravel, although it's straightforward and relatively, I would,
it's not technical.
Yeah, it's not very technical. I'd hesitate to call it champagne gravel.
Sure.
But it is pretty close. There's some really good fast sections buffed out, but there is also some deep sandy sections.
Right.
And so I think that's what we'll get into today, like the talking about like some of the route. So your biggest on route thing that you'll have to overcome is the sand.
Yeah.
There is a lot of sand. In the first, I think 5 miles, there's I've coined it the Sarlacc pit, but basically it's you turn right onto this road and it is just deep sand.
It's right outside of town. You barely get the warm up in.
Yeah. I don't even know how the people that live on that road get through that sand.
I don't think they do.
Yeah. It's just it's just so deep.
We had one year, it had rained enough that it was pretty well packed in. Yeah. And we got to that section. I'm like, where was that sand section at? And it's like, that was it. Like,
that was
what?
It. Yeah.
But the year before, it was so deep, like it would
walk.
Swallow up your tire, like completely swallow up your tire into your wheels. Even if you had deep wheels, like it didn't matter. And so everybody had to walk that.
Yeah.
And so and I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen how the weather's been in Pratt, but just based on the emails that have come out and looking at the weather for this week, I'm guessing it's a high probability it'll be a walking section again this year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, if they do get a little, I think we're down
chance
to get
rain.
Chance of rain. So if it does rain, it will firm it up a little bit. But
it'd be nice.
Again, this is Kansas. This is the Midwest. You don't know.
Never know. Yeah.
So
if anybody wants to tell you they know what the weather's going to do, they have no idea. But yeah, I mean, I want to say that if I remember right, it's like 4 miles maybe into the race. Yeah. Like you don't even get warmed up. You get just out of the neutral rollout, and then it's So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the race there if it tries to explode there. Like last year, being a rain route, it felt like the race really blew up there. Like people just wanted to get out quick.
I think I averaged like 300 and something watts just to get to that section,
Right.
and then through that section, it was
Everything
I had just to get dropped from the front group.
Right. That's right. Yeah, because once you get out of that, you kind of make a couple more turns, and the next thing you know, you're onto a paved road, which is after that, it's a lot of relief, chance to eat, but the groups are formed up, and if you don't get in a group, and I learned this last year, if you're not in a group.
When you hit that road,
you won't catch them.
Yeah,
not for a while anyway. Because you'll be in a constant chase, and that's when the road turns. It's paved, but then like you said, you get back onto gravel, and it's pretty nice gravel. I mean, now you get to the bottom of some of those hills where the sand starts to collect.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the other thing, and I'm sure I haven't had a chance to read through all of Eric's brief about the safety and stuff. So definitely read through that. I'm going to read through it after we get done recording, but I'm sure he's put it in there. I know he's said it many a times. Yeah. So if you're coming down a big descent and there's, like a roller, the bottom of that roller, there is sand. So just assume that there's deep sand in the bottom. And, I always tell like my athletes and stuff that are doing this, the sand part, the bike's going to go where the bike's going to go.
That's right.
So you want to keep the hips loose, but you also want to keep that cadence a little bit high so that you can kind of motor your way through it.
That's right.
If you stop pedaling, you're just going to go brrr and just slow down and bog down. Don't freak out if the bike wants to jump over to the next rut or anything like that. Just kind of ride with it.
Right.
You're still going to be going straight. You may just kind of be shifting around a little bit. So, that's my little safety talk on that part. Try not to, again, if you're not feeling comfortable, you can bomb most of the descent. And then when you get towards the bottom, you can kind of, feather the brakes a little bit and then set yourself up to kind of roll through that section. But,
yeah. And I think you said it right though. It's like what I see a lot of folks do when they hit that sand. You can tell folks that have never ridden in sand before because they immediately they jerk, they tense up, and they usually react with whatever the bike is doing. They overreact, and so all you can say is that's why you want to expect it, because then you can just let the bike do what it's going to do.
Yep, it's going to stay. It wants to stay upright.
That's right.
It just keep the cadence wants high. To ride in this rut.
Yeah, and if you keep the cadence high, it'll help you stay balanced too. And then hey, if you got to put a foot down, you put a foot down. But especially in that first section we were talking about, if you put a foot down, you're walking. It's going to be really hard to get restarted unless you can find some firm ground. I would not recommend trying to get restarted in sand. That's a bit of a tough deal. But I think once you get out of the first. Once you get by the time you get to Sun City, you're kind of out of a lot of that really tough sandy stuff. I mean, most of you don't get a lot of sand accumulation at the bottom of the hills after that. I won't say there's none, but it's just not as much, and you'll start to figure it out. So if you're doing the long route, and we'll go deeper into the route details and stuff. If you're doing the long route, there is one section that if it has been raining, it does tend to get muddy. It's like a low-lying section right before you get to the Gypsum Hill climb, before you get into Medicine Lodge. Yep. So if you're doing the long route, it's, I want to say probably like mile 70-ish. Yeah. There's a low-lying. It's on, if you look at the profile, it's basically the lowest section before you start that climb out. Yeah. That'll be your, the chance. If it has rained there, that place will be muddy and wet, but it'd have to rain a lot for it to be pretty muddy. And I think that the 5 years we've done it, last year was the rain. We just totally skipped it. Mm-hmm. But the years before, when it's rained, maybe I would say maybe a quarter mile worth of mud. Yeah.
And then
nothing crazy.
Then you're easy and it's good to go. Yep. And it's one of those well-traveled roads down there, so there will be some, tire ruts for you to follow and stuff like that. So,
yep. Speaking of talking about just one more thing on the sand, it's, I think one of the tips that I've learned over the years, just keep an eye on wheel tracks. You see the tracks that are going through, and, you can tell a lot by, where you start to see wheels, like tracks start to get a little wavy and squiggly, and that's obviously a good indication. But just as important as seeing the wheel tracks as seeing where you don't see the wheel tracks.
Right.
Because that obviously is more firm ground, but a lot of people get so caught up in, oh my gosh, it's sandy, it's sandy, it's sandy. And then you just like, maybe if you just look at the shoulder, you can kind of skirt by it. And I know that seems obvious when you're saying it now, but when you're actually in the race
and you're going full tilt.
Yeah. And like, those are the things you don't think about. So if you're just conscious of that now, and you just kind of, you know, put that in the playbook, because you kind of get into the race, especially if you don't find yourself in, if you find yourself in a group, you're probably going to be okay. The leaders will fish their way through it. You just follow the wheel. But if you find yourself chasing or solo, then those are helpful things. That'll kind of save you a little bit of time and headache through those sections.
Yeah, so. there may be a better line. And then one of the last things I would say is they tend to like to do some grading.
That's true.
We've had of the gravel roads around Sawyer. So, you know, those of us that are doing some of the long routes, if you're doing the medium route, the 70 mile, you're not going to go through that section, so you won't have to worry about it. But if you're doing the short route I've looked at and the long route, there's some gravel roads that you're going to be riding on that may have a grader on it, and they may have just came through and tore it up.
Wouldn't that be the luck?
So again, there you won't have any wheel tracks to follow, because you know, chances are the graders doing their job while everybody's trying to go through there. And you know, it's one of those things where you may have to ride around on the road and find a good line, a good section. You know, that may last for maybe 100 yards, and then you're searching for another one.
That's right.
Just know that, you know, there's not a lot that they're going to grade, but if they grade a 5 mile section, it's going to be a pretty tough 5 mile section that you're going to be suffering.
As you said, that's happened before. Hopefully it won't happen again. If it does, I think we got to talk to Eric about getting some pull with the counties or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing a great job with the ranchers, but get these counties under control.
Yeah, get that grader under control. So
send that guy on a vacation or something.
Yeah. So all right, let's talk about the routes here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this 50 mile route.
Okay.
First, we'll just go from the shortest to the longest.
Yeah.
I think that'll be good for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. The 50 mile, the shorter route is certainly a lot less of a headache with the sand and everything. I mean, you're going to have this similar sand that we have coming out with the longer distance, but for all intents and purposes, that route is going to be much more straightforward.
Yeah, and so the first little rollout, pretty straightforward, and then you get to this, I want to say mile 3, this little turn at mile 3. That is where that Sarlacc pit is. I think it's Road 20 or 20th Street or something like that. And then you just have a little, one block section of deep sand. Then you make a turn, and then you got gravel, and then you're on paved road heading south.
Yep.
Then once you head south on that route, you're basically paved road, and then when you get to about Sawyer, you're going to come down gravel road, make that little lollipop loop.
Yep.
And then you're back on paved road again. So it's a good mix, I think, especially for the people that are doing the shorter route. It's a good little taste of kind of what's kind of out there. You don't get to see the Gypsum Hills or anything like that. Right. That's a lot further south. It'll be kind of farther in the distance, but you get a good little taste of the gravel that's out there, and then you also get to kind of go through the wind farms and stuff, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, like I said, the meat and potatoes of this, if you're trying to race this, that 50 mile route, you're basically, you want to get in a good position mile 3 or so.
Yeah, because that's going to be quick.
Yep.
It's going to be a real quick
so
route.
Get your warm up in, guys.
That's right. And that's the thing. I mean, for everybody that having to go through that sand section, I mean, you talk about how much power it takes just to get there. It takes a lot of power to get through it. And if you didn't get a good warm up in, like I know those first few years we didn't really do a warm up. We just
we'll just kind of roll them.
I think the very first year, the second year we were almost late to the race.
Yeah,
if I remember right. So it's like there was no.
I think we showed up like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes
before the race started.
Yeah.
We were like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what happened and why, but I just remember being really nervous that we were going to be starting after everybody. Which,
yeah.
Whatever.
I think we were probably sleeping in.
Probably.
That's probably what happened.
It's a bit of a drive.
All right. So now the 65-mile course, basically the same start. You got that same, if you're racing it, that you're going to be basically trying to get into that front group or whatever, establishing a really good group in those, couple miles. Then once you get on that paved road, it's pretty much fast. Then you're going to make basically a right onto a gravel section that's pretty rolly. Then you get into the ranch section here. In years past that we've ridden this, it's kind of like a dual track kind of ranch road.
Yep.
There is sections that are a little bit gnarlier than others. So you're just gotta keep your wits about you. And then once you drop down from this ranch section, you get back onto this main road into Sun City, and then it just flies. That route is super fast.
Yep.
And then you make the turn north, and you're back on paved road again, and you're just cruising back home. So nothing too crazy. You got that aid station in Sun City. Definitely take advantage of that. Gets resupplied, and then be ready to head back towards Pratt.
Yep.
Right.
Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
And again, you get a little taste of the sand. You get a little taste of some of the climbs. You get a little taste of the scenery, but the real deal is on the full course.
Yes, the meat and potatoes. This is where you kind of fall in love with this course.
And I got to tell you, I mean, I've never done the shorter courses, and maybe next year will be the first year doing that. But I can tell you that after we did the rain route last year, if you're not doing the full course, you're not getting the full effect of the beauty of this part of the state.
Yeah. It basically takes you to get to Sun City to get to the beauty. Once you get there and you get south of Sun City and then you're heading to Medicine Lodge, it's just
awesome.
Yeah.
Great time.
I can't explain it.
Yep.
The words won't do it justice for sure.
No, you got to see it. So
now we're going to do the 200-mile route or the 130-mile
200K.
Yep, 200K. So again, it's basically follows the 100K route until you get to Sun City.
Yep.
And then out of Sun City, you start heading south, and there's a pretty decent climb.
Yeah.
There's part of my soul on that climb for sure. It's paved for some of it, and then it's gravel.
Kind of breaks in.
Yeah, and then it breaks in some gravel, and then you get into some ranch roads.
Yeah, real quick though on that climb, the best part about that is it's right after the aid station. You're nice and weighted down.
Yeah, exactly. You've grabbed all your bottles and you're fully loaded for the next 50 miles.
I will tell you, this hill, even though I'll call it a hill because it's not a super long climb. I mean, it's a couple minutes. I can't remember exactly, but I might be 5 or 10. I don't even know. It doesn't matter how long of a climb it is. But what I do know is this hill will sift out the people who went too hard into Sun City quickly.
Yes.
I don't care how long they sat at the aid station or how short they were there. You will find out if you overcooked the ride to Sun City because this hill, especially, we haven't talked about the wind yet, but it looks like the wind will be right in your face for this section. Yep. And we've had many times in the past where that wind is blasting you, and I've seen souls leave bodies out there, and you scoop them up, and you're just like, yeah, you cooked a little hot, didn't you?
Yep.
So, I would just say, this is your first litmus test to say, hey, is my nutrition on? Is my hydration on? Is everything good? And is my pacing right?
Yep.
Because if it's not, this is your chance to fix it. Because this stretch from Sun City to Medicine Lodge is the real challenge of this race.
Yes.
So.
This will be, you get into the ranch roads. There's nobody out there but cows. If you're lucky, you'll see the rancher. He'll be nice to wave to you, but he's not going to be helping you.
He will not be helping.
He'll not be helping.
There's no room in his truck.
Nope, there's no room in his sidecar for you, no matter how much cash you have. But yeah, you get to that first ranch, depending on, how we're going to go. It's a little twisty, turny, up and down here and there. It looks to be like the same kind of ranch road that we've ridden before.
Well, it's really not a road.
Ago. It's not. Yeah, it's like basically it's a pasture that we get to ride through.
Yeah.
So depending on how the cows were feeling that year, we'll see how torn up it is.
That's right.
And then you break. You you get out of that section, you get back onto some gravel road, and then you're starting to make your way towards Medicine Lodge.
Yep.
Then when you get to about, 20 miles outside of Medicine Lodge, you're going to climb, you're going to see this hill in the distance as you're riding towards it. And then you're like, oh, I just have to get to the top of that hill.
That's right.
Then you get to the top of that hill, and then guess what? You get to go onto another ranch section. So,
and that climb that you're talking about, it's another road climb.
Yep.
And
it's a good 10 minutes.
It is.
For me, I'm a big guy.
It's a longer climb than the Sun City one. I don't think it's as steep.
No.
But it is a longer climb, and it's just, honestly, that's one of my favorite climbs.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
very beautiful, very remote.
Like, I don't feel like that climb is one that just, like, a lot of times you get through climbs and you're just like, oh my gosh, it took, you really took it out of me. I remember doing that, every time, and it's like, it's just such a fun climb. And then, but the worst part about that one is you don't get the descent that comes afterwards. Because to your point, you get a ranch road right afterwards.
Yep.
Like, do not look to bomb the descent. You will miss that turn.
Yeah, you will miss it. It's right after the top.
It is. And then you miss it. I've seen people coming back up. You got to climb that hill twice.
Yep.
It's a little steeper on the other side, by the way. So yeah, don't miss that ranch section after the climb. That's just not a good idea.
And then that ranch section, the last couple of times I've ridden it, they had so they do some drainage gullies in the road. So just be prepared for that. If you're following wheels, be ready to bunny hop on that section.
Yeah.
There's a couple of those. There's a couple rough rock sections, a couple rough dirt sections. It's not like this would basically be like, if you've ridden in the Flint Hills, I would say it's like akin to Little Egypt, but without all the rocks.
That's the way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's technical. It's fast because it's downhill.
Yeah.
But just be careful that, you're not taking too many risks and you're looking ahead.
Yeah.
It's real easy to get in the mode of like, I'm almost to the aid station.
Right.
And you just kind of space out. I just got to make it a couple more miles.
Yeah.
This is not the place to kind of fall off.
I will say, the good thing about everything you just said there is that this is far enough in the race. Like the times, the splits have kind of already been well established at this point. Quite frankly, you're not making up many positions by taking chances here. Now, if you're at the front of the race, it's a whole different conversation.
Yep.
But if
you're doing what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. But and you're trying to, every second counts kind of thing. But if you're out of the top 10, which let's face it, most of us will be.
Right.
Once you're out of the top 10, the distances and the times that are, generally speaking, I mean, maybe somebody catches you in here, but I mean, again, unless you're in a group or something like that, but the reality is you're just not going to gain or lose a ton of time here. Not when you get out, once you get far enough outside of the top 10. And then to your point, I mean, it does get a little technical. Probably some of it will depend on the weather too. If there's fresh rain in there, it could get a little slippery in spots.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be out of control or anything like that. It's just it's not going to be super tacky and bog you down or anything like that.
It's really quick. It's very fast moving. There was 2 years ago there was some cows on the road.
Yeah.
So if you do see some cows on the road, just remember that this is their land and we're just passing through. So I don't want to have anybody get hurt or anything.
That's right.
We did at Flint Hills, we did see some heifers getting moved. So again, if they don't have horns, they're probably afraid of you. If they do have horns, give them a very, very wide berth.
That's right. That's right.
So, and then you get into Medicine Lodge. Now this is kind of like after you get this aid station, you have this long, like I want to say 8 miles, I would say 8 miles of rolling uphill on paved road. Now this is your chance to get. If you want to make up a couple places, this is kind of where you're, if you can see your competitors in the distance, you can start to make some inroads on them because it's a straight road. You can and it rolls and it just keeps rolling up and you'll be able to see them.
That's right. And this is where you can go back and listen to last year's race recap where I talk about seeing one of our good friends off in the distance about a quarter mile up the road. I'd say I estimate a quarter to a half mile. And to your point, it's such a long straightaway, long distance. It's easy to underestimate how far they really are.
Yep.
And I think I did underestimate because I started putting in surges like, I started working up toward threshold, knowing it's an 8-mile road. Think about that. It's an 8-mile road. You're up a hill. You're talking at a minimum, it's probably a 30-minute section.
Yep.
Maybe 45, depending on how fast you are. But minimum 30 minutes. So you start thinking, I'm just going to put a threshold effort in to catch the guy that's a quarter mile up the road. And they find out they're really 3/4 of a mile up the road. That threshold effort for what you thought should have been maybe, 5-minute, 8-minute threshold. Next thing you know, you're in a 20-minute threshold.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that, except unless you were looking to do an FTP test in the middle of, or the back half of a 130-mile race, you can get suckered in real quick here.
Yeah.
So pacing is going to be really important here.
I use this section to just kind of like see if there's anybody up the road. And then I basically just try to make inroads and just try to keep them where I can see them. And then when we start to make that left-hand turn and we start making our way towards Sawyer, that's when I usually put in my efforts because that's some gravel, it's some turns. People slow down for the turns. There's times for you to, you can
make up more time in a shorter distance.
You can make up a little bit more time there, and and you're basically you can take a little bit more risks and capitalize on the fact that that person's pretty close.
Yep. That section, this 8-mile stretch, the first 2 years I did it had my number every time.
Yep.
Because this is again another one of those areas where you're going to find out real quick if your nutrition has been dialed in throughout the ride. And if you've been drinking as much as you should. And again, we've had years where there's been a straight 30-mile-an-hour headwind in this section, which that's not looking to be the case this year.
Yep.
This year, if we're lucky, you'll have a cross tailwind, maybe a tailwind, but probably a cross tailwind. I will say, I don't think we've had one year before where it was a nice tailwind, but I don't recall it really. I went back and looked and tried to compare times. It didn't really help that much.
Yeah, because you are going up a pretty decent hill.
Yeah, it's a good little climb, and then towards the end of that climb, it kind of pitches up even more. You know, it's like 3% or something. And I know, like on the grand scheme, like it's not like a mountain in Colorado where you got, or even 6, 7, 8%. But it's this false flat to a gradual, and then a bit of uphill, and you're just. It's just so easy to underestimate.
It's really easy for you to overcook that section.
Yep.
And pay for it basically from when you make that left-hand turn on the gravel into Sawyer.
Remember a couple of years back, we scooped the guy up in Sawyer.
Yep.
And he was like leaned up against the post of a building, like just like cooked. I mean, I haven't seen anybody as cooked as he was. But he was so happy to see us because I think he just needed somebody to help get him home.
And he was like, "Oh, can I ride with you guys?" Because I just felt like going into the cornfield and crying. And I was like, "Yeah, dude, come with us." And so we helped pull him all the way home. So when you get to Sawyer, if you've paced it really well and you're feeling pretty good, you might be picking up some shelled out people and kind of helping them get back.
That's the thing, Sawyer. You're still, and it's crazy because you're like, oh, thank goodness it's Sawyer, but you're still 20 miles out. Yep. You're still 20 miles out. It's now this year. It's pretty much once you get to Sawyer, it's paved road the whole way home.
Yep.
I mean, you might have some really very, very hard packed gravel, like dusty paved road, but it's basically a paved road the whole way back, and I think that's a good thing. I do. I think that's a good thing that there's a paved road. Because I'll tell you, when you still have 20 miles to go out of Sawyer, remember a few years back, we went up a separate road. It was a real sandy road, and they had just graded that road. Yep. And that's another one of those like 8 to 10 mile stretches where you're just like, get it over with. And
it would just never end. It
never ended. Yeah. And that's, so when we talked about the guy we scooped up in Sawyer, he kind of found his maybe his 10th wind. And I started to die off in that section because that's another one of those sections just requires such consistent power output, because if you surge a lot or if you're not consistent, then you kind of lurch through the sand and you end up cooking the muscles and you'll just fizzle out. But if you can hold just a constant power, even if it's a zone 2 power, that's okay. Just hold a constant power. That's your best friend in those sections. But paved road the rest of the way home.
You get up, nice. Get towards the highway, just be a little bit careful. There's a little bit more traffic on that way. And then when you get into Pratt, you kind of twist and turn in through the city.
Yeah, you come up, Yeah, you kind of come in and you got to make that one left-hand turn. I forget the road, but it's easy to miss. I've seen people miss it and they have to go up to the next block or something.
Yep.
And they come over, but you don't want to miss it because you're not. If you don't make that turn, you're not going to be in line with the finish line.
Yeah. So there is it's a little bit uphill as you're coming in, and then it's downhill on kind of block or what is it, cobblestone or
like bricks,
brick road, and then there's a little fast kicker up to the finish line. So if you're coming in with a group and you're wanting to unleash your sprint after 130 miles, you definitely want to wait until you get kind of mostly down that downhill, and then unleash it up that little kicker to the finish line.
I'm on my computer looking at. We're not gonna share this because this is this might come into play. I'm looking at the satellite view, and I'm just picturing where I lost a bunch sprint a couple years ago, and I can see almost exactly the spot where I lost it.
Yep.
And I'm looking now. I'm like, if I'm going to do this again, if it were to shape up, I know exactly where to launch that attack.
Yep.
And you're not wrong. It's definitely because you got to. You'll see it. You'll see how
you'll
it
see
goes down.
You'll see the finish line, and you're gonna want to you're gonna want to launch it super early, but you're gonna have to hold off and wait a little bit.
Yeah, it's really sneaky. That grade sneaks on you, especially after the 130 miles. But it's gonna be fun. I don't know if it'll it's probably a rarity to come down to a sprint finish like that, but
you never know.
And we've already had a little controversy with the sprint finish this year,
right?
So maybe we'll have another one this year. This is one of those. This is one of the races that this is in your wheelhouse. I don't think I've come within. What was it last year on the rain route? I think I was like 10 minutes behind you. I want to say maybe 20.
Yeah,
that close?
You were really close. Yeah.
But every other year besides that, I've always been 30 minutes or more. Now it's hard to go back to, 4 years ago when the first year we did it, because it just doesn't count. But. But it's just funny because last year I was fighting back the whole way, and I swore I was going to finally catch up to you guys, and I just couldn't do it. But I think this route is definitely, especially those ranch sections. Folks that have a mountain biking background, or folks that really enjoy riding those rougher sections, you can put a lot of time into people in just the 15 miles of ranch roads that we have.
Yep.
You can make up. I'm not saying you can win the race, but you can make up a lot of time or put a lot of distance between you and the next guy. And you can do that on 15 miles of road out here.
Yep.
So, I think in Eric's emails he talks about how when he first started he didn't know he called it a gravel race because that just seemed like the right. I agree. I don't know. This is definitely, yes, it's a gravel race because there's so much gravel, but it's so dynamic. The different surface types, the scenery, the wind, the weather elements. It's just, this race has it all. So, yeah.
So let's talk about what's going to be on everybody's mind, the weather.
Oh, tire choices. No. Yeah. So the weather,
right now, as we're recording this, I checked right before. It looks like a 30% chance of rain.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Okay.
In the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like 3 p.m.
Yeah. 30%.
Yeah. So partly cloudy through most of the day.
Yeah.
Relatively cool. I'm not a big fan of full-on sun because I'm a ginger. So any kind of reprieve from the sun is a good day for me.
Yeah.
Sure. The wind, though. The wind, I've been checking it all week. And it has been as high as 20 miles an hour. And right now it's saying it's going to be basically 4 miles an hour at race start time from the south, and then straight south at 18. So it's going to pick up. And then it may shift to from the west, southwest.
Yeah.
A little bit southwest.
Yeah.
But when I checked it yesterday, it was coming southeast, and there was basically constant. So as you can see, the weather is not cooperating in that area right now. So I would say from the experience that I have with this race, count on there being wind for sure.
Yeah.
I would say that the rain is probably less likely, and that you're probably going to get a wind from the south.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think it's going to come from the north this year. It looks all the future stuff I've seen looks like it's all coming from the south.
If you look at the day before, day after, 2 days before, 2 days after, there's like never a north wind. And so I think I know we've had north winds in years past.
And that makes it really hard.
Fierce wind because it's obviously a headwind the whole way home.
Yep.
I mean it's predominantly going to be out of the south for the bulk of the day. Which will make it interesting. I mean, that race down to the southernmost point before you make that turn back to the north into Medicine Lodge, I mean, that's the bulk of the race. So you're going to be doing a lot of this race into a cross headwind.
Yep.
And if the wind swings around, you might be doing a little bit of headwind on the way back. So,
so it's totally unpredictable again. So, even. Can
you imagine that, having this race be a headwind the whole way?
Well, yeah, I can imagine it.
Pretty sure it was a couple of years back.
Yeah, I'm like, how could it get harder? Oh, throw a tornado in it. Wait, we already had one of those.
Yeah, where the wind swirled around.
And that when we did that year, the tornado year, it was a full on as hard as you could go to the southern point, so you could try to beat with that weather system coming through. And it only missed Medicine Lodge by, I want to say, like 10, 15 miles.
Yeah, it wasn't much. I think that I think the one good thing I'm seeing out of the weather forecast is that the gusts are only 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, which is good.
I mean, which is great. I mean, I know it's like, but I mean, seriously, you get out into those exposed open range sections and it's not, there are no gusts. It's constant.
Yeah. And there's nothing out there.
Yeah. So there's no reprieve. It's fully exposed and it is a constant wind. There's no variable 5 mile an hour. Then, here's a nice little soft breeze. Nope. It's a freaking blast the whole way.
Yep.
And that works both ways. I mean, sometimes you get turned a little bit and there's a little bit of a tailwind, but it just makes it hot then. So anyway.
We're not selling it.
No. Well, I just think it's important to know what you're in for.
Yeah. I always tell people it's just managing expectations.
Yeah. Don't think you're coming out here for a cakewalk.
Yeah. On paper, this route looks very easy, very doable, very straightforward.
Yeah.
In reality, it is. I mean, every year I've done it, it's been some kind of new challenge that has come up, and
it's what 128 miles and 4K of climbing. You're like, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, we'll be down there Friday afternoon, hopefully, and if you guys see us or whatever, say hi, and then we'll be at the race start if we don't sleep in.
I think this is going to be a Christmas morning type race.
Yeah, I doubt I'm going to be able to sleep for sure. So
yeah, I'm actually, that's exactly it. I'm a little more worried that I won't be able to sleep. It's funny because as we said at the start, when we got done with the first time, we weren't even sure we wanted to come back.
We were positive that we were never coming back.
Yeah. Well, until about an hour into the ride home.
Yeah. And then until we got to Wichita, and then we're like,
So that started the plotting for, when does registration sign up or open up? And then once you've done it 2 years in a row.
And then we found out that if you do it 5 consecutive years, you get a buckle.
Yeah. Well,
and then that became the goal.
That's right. I think there's just something too about just this race, and obviously, we've had Eric on the show, so I encourage you to go back and listen to a couple years ago we had Eric on and talked a little bit about his background, but I think just knowing,
I think we'll try to have Eric on again.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah,
I'm sure we will. The thing about that I think I like most about this is it truly is about as grassroots as it gets. And I love how these smaller towns they eat it up, and
they love to see us, and they're so awesome.
Yeah. And the thing I think that sticks with me the most is, and I don't know if they'll be there this year, but the ladies that are in Sawyer that have the baked goods.
Yeah.
Again, you got to get there pretty early in the race to have any baked goods left, because they get eaten up
if
fast.
I'm coming through, there's nothing left.
Nothing. They're like, this ginger came through. We don't have anything.
Yeah, we don't have any. He just took everything.
I forget what year it was. It came through, and they usually have the little they have a stand like right outside of a little general store. And the general store was closed. Like they had just closed.
Yeah, they closed, I think, at like 3:00.
Yeah, pretty early. And I'm not saying they'll do it again, but that year, they opened it back up for a few of us riders that were just happened to be there, and the person was still there. And she's like, why don't you guys come on in and we could buy a Coke
get
or
a
something.
Coke or something.
Yeah. So, but I just love that small town, that how much they get around or behind it, and the fact that so much money gets raised for good causes, and that's, to me, like, I just love that. So I think, as you kind of dig into the race itself a little bit more, like, it makes it real easy to want to come back year after year.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've done. We've been back every year since, and I'm really looking forward to year number 5.
Yep,
so,
me too.
Yep.
So hope if I could talk,
right?
Hope this helps you guys, given our experience, for the fast kids and stuff. I hope it gives you little tidbits to think about from, us crusty old experienced guys. And I look forward to seeing all you fast kids ride off into the distance on the paved road section. So
good stuff.
All right. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you at Pratt for open range. Last little bit of drinking game. Good job.